We waited a very long time for crypto to be adopted.
When things get hard,
Everyone's a real.
they all leave.
Yeah. Our goal is to really eliminate friction when it comes to lending.
You're in a very niche market.
Our goal is to become a unicorn.
But Punta Cana is the home base.
The people here, it's different.
Go in the pool. What's holding you back? Living in Punta Cana while working with clients around the world, Alcides Aguasvias embodies global entrepreneurship, from leading award-winning companies to co-founding NettyWorth. He's now helping shape the future of Web3 lending and innovation. Welcome to the Punta Cana Podcast.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's so exciting because I was so knee-deep in Web3 when it was all the rage. And now
21.
It's a little 21, 22. Yeah. Now it's a little more quiet. So it's always really exciting to meet somebody who is still very, very, very
Never
engaged
left.
in that world.
I'm one of the few that never left, yeah.
So how's it been these last couple of years?
It's been hard.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to somebody before about this. I think that 2021 was a special year. Mm-hmm. You know, it was so euphoric, and not just in NFTs, but in stocks in general. You know, there's stocks today worth pennies that were a couple of $100s back then. And I think that the hype that started in 2021, a lot of people always reflect back to 2021, but in reality, that wasn't the actual price or like what these assets should have really been. And I think that now things have leveled off to what the actual price of these things should be.
So there was a boom back then. But it was new, or was it not new, or was that just the boom and now?
It was a boom. NFTs have been around, talking about NFTs, they've been around since around 2015, 2017, right? But I think COVID and everybody being home and getting all this extra cash and just the way things evolved, I definitely jumped in around that time, and I went to events that it blew my mind the way the community was brewing. Like the crypto and art space was moving in a really good vibe. When everything came down, and it happens every couple of years, right? Things boom and they come back down. A lot of people left the space. And I think it's actually a good thing, because I think it kind of weeded out like the trash that was probably there just to profit a buck, you know?
I was there to profit a buck. Wait a minute.
No, listen, part of the reason I got into the NFT space originally was because me and my wife had just bought an investment property, and I couldn't invest into any more crypto because all our money was being dumped into the reno. And I was like, wait a second, there was an NFT from LeBron James that sold for $100,000. Wait, I could buy something for 1 Ethereum and sell it for 3? That's interesting. That's a way I could grow my portfolio in a different way. So I got really heavy into it, but then I just became part of the space. Like, I love the art, I love the community, and I was just one of the people that never left. But the space is still growing. There's a lot of amazing artists, a lot of great projects that have come out. There's still a lot of money in the space. Mm-hmm. NFTs are still trading for thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a regular basis. It's just that the news and the media, you know, it was just something in 2021
it's not
that was
in the
covered.
news cycle.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? It would have to be in a news cycle, and then boom, everybody's talking about it. So is it still hard? I know that there was that hard phase when there was a lot of drama around it and things, the bubble was bursting.
Yeah, well, just hard because, you know, you have an asset that was worth $150,000 and now it's worth $20,000. You know, you can feel it. I mean, I've went through it, although, you know, there's this thing about when you're really knee deep in it, and I know some people will disagree, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
You know, like what really matters is the asset and what perks may come with it, right? Mm-hmm. So like I mentioned before, I've been to events that are practically a concert, like going to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I've seen Snoop Dogg, Eminem, been to Madonna concerts, like so many different perks and access to people that you don't normally have. So owning this token or this NFT sometimes becomes more valuable in the long term than cashing out.
Yes. Because you have a Bored Ape.
I do.
I know. That is like, wow.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I could have cashed out.
Yeah.
I'm not... Yeah, I guess I could have cashed out and bought back in. but I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, and for me, this makes me think about real estate because that is my business and my passion. And I've been in this business for the last 26 years through the ups and the downs and ups and the downs, and having things be really hard and sticking it through and having a type of a long-term vision that when all the dust settles, and I do tell that story, like, here in Punta Cana, for example, selling real estate, everybody comes and they all want to be a realtor.
Yeah.
And then when things get hard,
everyone's a realtor.
They all leave.
Yeah.
And then those who are really about it, true to the heart, stay. And then it's almost like a cleansing, you know? So then when the sun comes up, only the ones who are really serious about that business are still left.
Yeah, that's a great point. I saw an interview of yours a while back, and you were talking about how when you got here, there was nothing, right? So you had that vision to stay and think what it could be in the future. And that's definitely the way that I see the NFT space. I wrote an article recently talking about how, we're going through a renaissance phase, right? If you were around when Picasso or Michelangelo was around, when they first came out, you would have never thought that an artwork of $20 was going to be worth $50 million later on or anything like that, right? So there are people in the space right now that are just solidifying their grounds in the space that in another 10, 15 years, you don't know if they're going to be the Michelangelo or Picassos of the blockchain crypto space, right?
Well, there will be those. So who are they today that you can say, okay, this is one that's really up and coming?
I think one person who solidified everything was Beeple. Beeple, he's the person who sold an NFT for $69 million back in like 22.
$69 million? But wasn't he the one who did something like every day or something like that for all those years?
It was and he still does it, by the way. Okay. Every day, if you're on X, every day he's posting a new image that he creates. And it's usually what's trending on that day, any big news in the space that happens or in the world, he creates an image that depicts what's going on. So he still does it. I was at Art Basel back in December in Miami. I got to see him. He's the guy, he went viral because he did these robotic dogs with like faces of different people. So I was there trying to collect one of his pieces. I was able to get one of his pieces. So, Beeple would be a person that has solidified the name. Now, on a different scale, my favorite artists that I look at now, one of them is called ACK, Alpha Centauri Kid. Incredible artist.
Okay, we'll have to look him up.
I'll definitely send you a link to his. He's one of my favorite artists. Xcopy, if you're into historical, Xcopy is probably the oldest and most significant NFT crypto artist going back to like 2017. Actually,
wow.
Yeah, 2017 or older than that. If you're looking to collect for the long term, you need to have one of his pieces in your portfolio. And that aside, I'm just really big into generative art. So it's art that's made with computer code, right, as opposed to designing it. So I usually tend to buy projects from Art Blocks, which is an organization that funded being able for artists to create artwork, right? That's generative art. So I usually collect from them. But if I had to mention my top three, it's probably ACK, Beeple, and Xcopy.
So you're a collector.
Yeah.
For the future.
Yeah, I came in as a trader and pretty much stayed as a collector.
Yeah, that's how it is though. That's that long haul piece. Your business is also based in the Web3 crypto world. You're a lender, NettyWorth.
Correct.
Tell us.
So we started with lending on NFTs. Right? And we've branched out and now we're doing lending on tokens, doing lending on prediction markets, and eventually we'll be moving forward into real estate, commodities, and other things. So essentially anything that's on chain that's valuable, we want to be the processor for these loans.
Wow. So of course, I'm very interested in the real estate side. So what are you doing with real estate?
What if your next investment placed you in the heart of nature, where mountains, waterfalls, and opportunity came together? Welcome to Legacy Beaches, a premier development in the Dominican Republic. Set against breathtaking mountains, waterfalls, just minutes from the beach, this high-growth area is attracting major investors. Secure premium land lots now with significant appreciation potential in just 30 months. Own a piece of this paradise. Invest in Legacy Meaches today. Click the link in the description to learn more.
At our company, we aren't set up just yet. We're building the infrastructure for it, but we actually do have partners that are waiting for us to launch our infrastructure so that they can use our lending platform to lend against their real estate properties.
So do you lend against real properties? Let's say, for example, we're here in Maple Beach. Someone wants to buy a condo in Maple Beach. Can they come to you for financing?
No, it doesn't work necessarily like that. But for example, let's say Maple Beach, you have tokenized it on chain, right?
Okay.
Which usually means somebody owns a token that represents the ownership or the deed of the building or a specific property. With that token, you'd be able to come into our system and request a loan on it.
Okay. And so then would this be one token for the property, or could it be various tokens for one property?
Normally it would be one specific token. So you could have one property, and let's say you fractionalized it into 10 tokens, so 10 people can own that one property. Mm-hmm. So let's say the property is worth $1 million. That means one token is worth essentially $100,000. Mm-hmm. That person who owns the token can come on our platform, list it for a loan, and potentially get a $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 loan in it pretty much instantly.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I remember when back in the boom, let's say, when I was really more into Web3 on a day-to-day basis, there were still looking at how to develop and evolve properties being bought through tokens and tokenization of properties. So is that actually happening now? Is it real?
It's not as common as you would want it to be. It has happened. I've met a couple of companies that have done sales in Florida and Texas. Not many people are doing it, but a lot of people are just setting the infrastructure for it. Usually a lot of times the ones that do happen, it's not that they're done beforehand, is they know somebody who owns a lot of crypto, and for whatever reason, they'd rather buy it with crypto and they want to do it on chain. So then they'll tokenize the specific property they're looking for so that they can buy it. So essentially,
they tokenize it for the sale.
Correct. So then they'll list it somewhere on a marketplace, whatever it may be. They go and pay whatever the value of the property is, and it becomes theirs.
Okay, got it.
There's just a lot of legal things. So I'm not an expert in it, but just from people that I've met in the space, there's legalities into the documentation that represents the token and the values and the deeds, or an LLC, which is probably the owner of the property that then represents the token. There's a whole setup that goes there. So we're not involved in the side of tokenizing. We're just involved in the side of lending. So if you have the asset tokenized, then we'll help you get a loan on it without a bank, without having to deal with anything. Just somebody who, well, that's the thing.
Do you have to have good credit? Like, how do you qualify for your lending? And this is lending that is tokens.
Correct.
So what is the currency that you're lending?
So in our case, it's usually Ethereum.
Okay.
Or stablecoin USDC or USDT, which is essentially one for one with the dollar.
Okay, got it. So the really stable ones, the very, very stable. So it's not like Doge. I can come and say, I got some Doge, I want to buy something.
Pretty soon you will.
Oh, really?
100%. But so we're a peer-to-peer system.
Okay.
Right. So our system, if there aren't any loan offers already available that you can literally instantly take the loan on, then once you list, we'll help you internally. We'll go through our system, lenders that are within the platform that have the liquidity, and they'll get notified and say, hey, Cheryl has $20,000 worth of Dogecoin and she's looking for a $10,000 loan. Are you willing to lend it? And if they are, they can instantly go and accept it.
And so then I would get credit through cryptocurrency to buy and do business, transact business in crypto. And I'm sure you're working with Bitcoin as well.
Yeah, so you'll be able to take loans on wrap Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a different, to get a little technical, Bitcoin's on a different blockchain, but there's been technology that essentially can wrap a Bitcoin into Ethereum, let's
Yep.
say,
Yes.
and then you can use that to take a loan on it.
Okay, got it. So there's a way.
100%.
Okay, but you just have to be looking to do business on the blockchain.
Correct.
Okay, got it.
I think it's a lot easier. It's global, so right now, if you need a loan, you have to go to a bank, get
Yeah.
your credit, go through, show statements. In our case, your lender could be in Asia. You may not even know who the lender is. They just care about the value of the asset. And if you own the asset, and if you own the ownership of the token, that means that you are the owner, right? Then they're willing to do a loan. You don't pay back the loan, automatically, essentially your asset, your token goes into escrow. If you don't pay it, then the lender can claim it, and now they'll be the owner of that asset.
Wow. Very similar dynamics to normal lending processes.
Yeah.
Just without the credit check.
Without the credit check, without 3 months of paperwork, you can literally go right now, list a $20,000 asset, and take a loan out for $10,000 without even knowing who's lending you the money, without any
Wow.
paperwork. Yeah.
Wow. So do you think that there might ever be a crossover to the regular, like, dollars, or what do they call that?
Well, I think it comes back with, regular dollars, the stable coin, right? Because a USDC,
Okay.
it's one for the dollar. There's no volatility. It's never going to change in price. So that's the easiest way.
So, for example, if somebody wants to say, like, my World of Women NFT, and I'm like, hey, this is worth $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. I want to take a $25,000 loan against it. Then I will get stablecoin, and I can go and convert that to US dollars and go get $25,000.
100%. So what we're actually in the middle of doing is we're doing some partnerships where we're going to integrate a credit card. Right. So right now, if you take a loan, you'd have to send it back to an exchange, cash it on the exchange, send it to your bank, wait for it to clear, which is fine. It'll take a couple of days, but essentially you'll be able to take a loan and instantly fund the credit card. It'll be a digital credit card or a physical credit card, and then you can just walk into a coffee shop and buy coffee if you need to, or buy whatever you need. So we're eliminating, our goal is to really eliminate friction when it comes to lending.
I really love that. And back when I was really into the crypto, I never heard of this. So is this kind of a new theme or a new concept in the Web3 world?
When it comes to digital, let's say NFTs, the concept has only really been around for about four or 5 years. It's a very small amount of players, and by small I mean 2 or 3 players.
Oh, wow.
That are really doing this successfully.
So you're very niche in this business.
Yeah.
So do you know the other players?
Yeah, I don't know them personally, but I know the companies.
So you know who they are.
Yeah, 100%.
Who's doing it too. Okay.
It's just for us, we're just looking at branching out into other assets, right? So I mentioned prediction markets, eventually tokenized real estate. We have partners right now that are waiting for infrastructure to launch so that they can use it. So we have a partner who has about $1 billion in tokenized gold, who wants to offer lending for owners of the tokenized gold pieces. We do have a couple of people in real estate. So yeah, that's what we're working on.
I would tokenize something if I could. I mean, I've been very interested in that. We've just been dealing with some complexities around the payment and how the title could be transferred.
Yeah.
Like proof of payment, let's say. So we would need the Dominican institutions to recognize and exchange cryptocurrency as like a legal tender.
Yeah.
Like now they're even really cracking down on bartering. You know, back in the day, it's like, I'll give you this piece of land if you give me 10 cows. Now, today in the DR, you could not do that. You legally could not do that kind of exchange. So
yeah, and I was going to say that I think we're behind the ball in DR when it comes to that space. But
they've actually complicated things with how they're done now, or else it probably would be more simple. But we keep knocking on those doors and see if we can open possibilities.
Yeah, I think again, I think it might just be that a lot of financial infrastructure is not here compared to the U.S., where some things are just a lot simpler. And with fraud and things like that, they're very skeptical, specifically if we're talking about crypto. But I think it's just in due time.
Yeah.
You know, the president went and spoke to the president of El Salvador last year. I'm
Yes.
sure they were talking about crypto and Bitcoin. And, you know, it just takes a couple of these players to finally get comfortable with it to focus into the space. Yeah.
It's coming for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
100%.
coming for sure. I mean, it's had its staying power. It's kind of more quiet, not so much in the media, but it's continuing for when the time comes for really it to be like permeated through everything.
Yeah. I mean, we have so many governments coming in, so many institutions, BlackRock, so many different big players getting into it and investing in Bitcoin, offering, you know, Bitcoin ETFs, that it's only a matter of time. I mean, again, even though Bitcoin has been around for almost 20 years or 15 years, we're still in the infancy,
Yes,
right? Like
I believe that.
we waited a very long time for crypto to be adopted, and it's finally happening. It's only been 2-3 years, you know, so it's going to take some time, but I'm happy that it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening, and you're in a very niche market. So when everything really explodes with the lending, you'll be right there, a leader already established. So
and that lending, so lending right now in the crypto space, it's probably about a $50 billion industry, but it's usually based around tokens. Mm-hmm. That's why we want to branch out into other asset classes.
Yes. That's a good idea. So Alcides. I'm loving this conversation about Web3, crypto, lending, and all of that. But let's talk a little bit about what brought you to Punta Cana.
Not everything in Punta Cana is about palm trees and paradise. Sometimes it's about a little girl walking barefoot to school with the biggest smile you've ever seen. It's about a rescued puppy wagging its tail for the first time, a U.S. veteran finally getting the care he deserves, and a group of volunteers planting trees to keep this island green for the next generation. This is what we do at Punta Cana Community Care Nonprofit Foundation. We help the children, we protect the environment, we support our U.S. veterans, and we care for animals because every one of them matters. We're a small foundation with a big heart, doing real work in the communities most visitors never see. But we can't do it alone. If you have a little extra money or just a big heart, we could use your help. Every dollar makes a difference. Punta Cana Community Care, because caring is contagious.
About 2 years ago, my wife and I were really getting tired. So we lived in the States, in the East Coast, in New Jersey specifically. And honestly, we were getting tired of the weather. You know, when I was younger there, it used to be sunny most of the year. Now half of the year was just dark and gloomy. We had a couple of personal situations that happened, and we were like, you know what? I think it's time for us to move. And years before, we looked into California. We went to California. We were planning to move out there, and then we didn't make the move. And then this time around, we were like, you know what? Let's just do it. And literally, we sold our house, our investment property, and in 30 days, we moved here. But in the interim, when we were having the conversations, Dominican Republic wasn't even on the list. We were looking at Portugal, we were looking at South Carolina, Puerto Rico, and the way it landed here, so a good friend of ours, Pablo, who's actually been on your podcast, he's an advisor, attorney at our company. He was living here, and he was talking to me about how Punta Cana was great. I think he had already been here about 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. We saw some of the content Jamie was putting out there, and we're like, oh, wow, that seems pretty cool. And since we have no kids, like, it was pretty simple for us. We were like, you know what, let's just pack, let's go, let's see what happens. You know, we rented an Airbnb for like the first 2 months. Then we found a short-term rental until eventually we settled where we wanted to be. And it was the perfect move.
Wow.
I don't think that going anywhere else that we were thinking about would have been the right move.
Really?
Yeah.
And why is that?
I think, and I guess I could say I could be a little biased because I'm Dominican, right?
Okay, I mean, tell the truth.
But I think I wouldn't know unless I lived there, but just knowing the vibe, the way it is here, it's so different.
Yeah.
Like there's something here that's hard to explain. You know, it's as simple as, you can be at the supermarket and be talking to the cashier like she's your best friend.
Yes.
You know, like there's just something about the people here, the life that just feels good. Every day, you know, I wake up and say, wow, it's a beautiful day.
Yes.
It's always a beautiful day. Even
Yes.
if it's raining, it's beautiful. You know, and it doesn't mean, you know, in my space, I work a lot, 15, 20-hour days sometimes.
Wow.
A lot of the times it's from 8 in the morning to like 2 in the morning. I'm locked in. I'm working. Granted, if I have to run to the gym or do something, I do. Half the time, I always have my laptop on me. You just never know when I have to hop on a call or whatever it may be. It happens on a regular basis. But overall, compared to the way that we were living in the States, it's totally different. I'm in the States every other month, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there's just something about the weather and just the people.
Yeah.
The people here, it's different.
So you're very confident about your decision
Yeah.
to move here.
If I didn't need to, I wouldn't even move back to the
Wow.
States. Me and my wife have always like moved around, mainly within the States, like every couple of years. And I think when we got here, this was the first time that we said, you know what? We don't even need to move. Like,
Yeah.
this is great. Maybe we'll move. There's been times like today we're going to the capital, and a lot of times the more we go into the capital, we're like, maybe we'll relocate to the capital for a year. And everyone's like, no, no, the traffic, don't do it. And we get it. I'm already dreading when I leave here the traffic that I'm gonna hit because it's gonna be like
how are you gonna
middle
live
afternoon.
there?
It's a city.
It's different.
You know, there's so much to do there.
Yes.
So we really like it, but at the end of the day, just being here in the country, it just hits different.
It's a bonus. And so how long have you lived here now?
I'm coming up to 2 years.
Okay, so it'll be 2 years living here.
Our team is literally across the globe.
Okay.
San Francisco, South America, Asia, Dominican Republic, New York.
Wow.
So we're on at
Yeah.
any time.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, you're talking about 2 a.m. meetings.
2 a.m., 3 a.m. Last night, I was exhausted. I've been going to bed around 2 a.m. this whole week. We have a big launch coming. And last night, I was so tired. I had to be up at 6. And it's literally 11:45. And I'm like, all right, it's time. And I get hit on Slack. And I'm like, hey, we need to get on a call real quick.
Oh.
And hopped on a 30-minute meeting at
Wow.
that time. So it just
Yeah.
happens at any time.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think that's one of the challenges for having a global business. I mean, we always talk about all of the benefits for working remotely and being an entrepreneur, but there are real challenges.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the editor for this podcast, when we started, he was living in Bangladesh.
Okay.
It was like 12 hours difference. So somebody was inconvenienced. I remember 5 a.m. in the morning doing my thing with him.
You know, it's a gift, and I think it's more of a gift, you know, when your team is like that, because when you're sleeping, they're handling something. But at the same time, by the time that you wake up, you can still talk to them. They're still on.
Yeah.
And by the time that you go to bed, they're already on.
Yeah.
So like you still get to communicate with them on the regular basis. So it's like everybody's working 24/7. So I really like that. It's just, you know, sometimes you have to do what you have to do at whatever time.
Yeah, I know.
And definitely in the tech space that you're building a product and you're raising capital, there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's, you know, I've been at dinners where I have to whip out my laptop and be like, I need 20 minutes, I have to hop on a call.
Wow.
And that's just the way it is.
That sounds like a hustle, though. That's just...
It's a hustle. It's definitely a hustle, but, you know, it's kind of, what's the term that they say? High reward, or
Yes.
you know, it's
Yeah.
a high. At the end of the day, we're working on building not something worth $1 million. We're working on $1 billion company, and
Yeah.
if we get there, when we get there, the reward is going to be really good.
Yeah.
So it's worth. Again, my parents stopped asking me things. You know, if I can make it to an event, they'll ask my wife, and then she'll ask me. But I've missed a lot of parties, a lot of friends, a lot of events, just because I need to focus on the company.
Yeah. Well, I mean, $1 billion company, you know, it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
So is that where you're going?
That's where we're going. Yeah, so our goal is to become a unicorn, you know,
Really?
valued over $1 billion. Right now, we're valued at around $25 million. We've raised a couple of million already, And our goal is to really keep developing, building the product, and again, being an infrastructure for companies that want to do lending in the space.
I think that is so great that you have a goal, that you're working really, really hard, you're making the sacrifices. I know in this day and age, even sometimes we talk about young people and what they're looking for. Do they really want to work? Do they really want to work hard? But at the end of the day, you really have to put it in to get those results at the end of the day.
100%.
So I don't have any doubt that you're going to make that happen. And you're very niche down too. Many people have a fear of that. Talk a little bit about that decision to be in such a small type of niche business.
It's it is a niche, but we're talking about billions and billions of dollars, small niche.
So how many do you need, right? Just a couple of good ones.
Just a couple of good ones.
Yeah.
But we're building, definitely working a lot, sleepless nights, but it's high risk, high reward. That's what I was looking for before.
That's how it is.
That's what it is. So if you want to build in tech, not just crypto, but just build in tech, there's a lot of hungry people out there. Even as much as I work, I go to events where, I'm speaking to a billionaire, I'm speaking to a 30-year-old who has $40 million in their bank account, who's on their third startup, and I think I work a lot. And then when I talk to these people, I'm like, oh man, I need to work even more. It's there's a lot of hungry people in tech, and these people will work 30 hours a day if they need to, and you just need to stay on.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're getting the results. And there's a lot of talk around to be successful in knowing that what you need to do is put yourself in certain environments. Like just hearing you sit here and talk about your business and your numbers, this isn't just everyday conversation.
Yeah.
But you're talking about billions of dollars, and you're around people who have done it, who have gazillion dollars in their bank accounts, and you're sitting here like, I need to work more.
Yeah, I'm in the States on a regular basis. I'm either in San Francisco or different parts around the country, definitely meeting with different investors. One thing I will say back to your point about where you are, right? So we used to be based in New York, but the company's based in San Francisco right now. And over $100 billion a year essentially is being deployed into tech startups out of San Francisco. My co-founder, one of them, it's three of us, he decided about 2 years ago to take the leap and head out by himself to San Francisco. A lot more expensive than New York, by the way.
Wow.
And did the leap. It was the best decision for the company that could have been done. We probably wouldn't have raised what we've raised if it wasn't because he was living
right there
in that location.
The environment.
So 100%. So because of that, I fly to San Francisco all the time, aside from conferences and things. So we go to Dubai, we go to Singapore, different parts across the US. Any event that's in tech, that's in our space, or there's investors, we're pretty much there.
So you get on a plane too and go where you need to go.
Yeah, all
do
the
what
time.
you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's times I'm gone for a month, 3 weeks, easy, just flying from place to place.
But Punta Cana is the home base.
It's the home base.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
You need to decompress.
Yeah, I imagine. I mean, that sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
Your schedule and what you're doing, the business, everything.
And it's not that I barely go to the beach, by the way. If somebody happens to come from the States and we're like, hey, let's go to the beach, and I'm 2 minutes away from the beach. But I think it's just decompression as just the life, the way that you feel here. I do have the choice that if I want to wake up one morning and I want to go at 7 a.m. and take a walk on the beach, I can do that. And by 8 a.m. I'm on the computer. I have those flexibilities, and I think it adds to the mental, break that you need, because it's a tough industry.
Yeah, I feel the same. I've lived here now the 20 years, and sometimes folks ask, like, do you still enjoy it? Do you still go to the beach? Do you still see the beach? And I'm not there as much as I thought I would be.
Yeah.
But when I do go there, I take those couple of minutes, I'll look out there, and it's just like brand new to me. Like, it's beautiful.
I have a pool. I walk by it every day. I've been living in this building now for over a year. I still haven't even gone in the pool.
Go in the pool.
I should.
What's holding you back?
I just don't think about it. I don't know. I'm just always
Focused.
on my way to do something, and the
Yeah.
pool, I'd rather go eat and have some really good food.
We have a foodie.
You know, definitely a big foodie. But yeah, it's not something that I yearn for. I'd rather be doing something else. Even when I have my off time, if you want to call it that, I'm usually just building something or working, tinkering around on something else that I could build.
That's so funny. That we have that in common,
Yeah.
I think. But I have little kids, so they're like, "Mommy, let's go to the beach."
Yeah, it would probably be different for me if I had kids.
You might have a little bit more balance in your
Yeah.
life. Maybe that's why you don't, because you're going for that unicorn, you
Yeah.
know, staying focused on that, which I think is great.
You keep on running around. You keep on running around. I've had enough of these games. These games. 100 grams.
So I'll say this, as a part of the podcast, we normally take a question from one of our subscribers. So go ahead and choose a question and I will ask. Okay, let's see what we have here. Is freedom built through money, location, or mindset? And which one took you the longest to understand?
Can I see the question?
I know, that was kind of deep.
It was.
Wow, subscribers are deep out there.
Money gives you access to things that you normally wouldn't be able to do. Location, I think it's more about peace. You know, like there's something about, like when I lived in Jersey, I loved going to New York, but 10 minutes from there, when I'm back where I lived, it was just an amazing community. You hear the birds in the morning. Like there's just something about being at that location that it just like hones you down, you know? And mindset is everything. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you have the money, if you live in the best place in a $50 million mansion. If you don't have the mindset, you're just lost in your own space. So for me, how long did it take me to understand it? I think it's something that I've understood for a while, to be honest with you. You know, definitely, I think out of everything, your mindset, it's like your own evil, right? Like that's something that you control, but at the same time, it controls you.
Whoa.
And if you don't have like a clear head and the positivity, you know, about things, it's your own demise.
And how do you keep that where it needs to be? Because mindset is so important.
Yeah.
I mean, it can take you over here, over there, up, down, in,
Yeah.
out. Like, do you have a routine?
You know, I
for
think for
that?
me, it's a couple of things. My wife is always pretty happy, so she helps me. You know, 'cause in this space, like, you have a lot of things that will mess with your mind. And I think not just even in life in general, right? And if you don't have somebody to bounce your thoughts with, and you live by yourself and it's just you, I think it makes it a lot harder.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to that. But that aside, you know, I've done positive affirmations and like always thinking positively and clearly, and it works, you know, but I'm not the type of person that does it on a regular basis. I think it's just sometimes taking a step back and just really thinking about your situation and how things will come out. I think a lot of people live in a rat race.
Yes.
And barely ever stop to think. They're just doing. And sometimes all you need is just to take a step back and just think about what you're going through and just say, you know what? There's people in my situation that are living a lot worse than I am. You know, doesn't matter what you're going through. There's always somebody living in a worse position.
Yes, definitely. And I love that you lean on your wife for support, that you guys are partners and that you feed off of each other. That's
Yeah.
so important. And my family is so important to me and keeping me happy and with a smile on my face every day, no matter what happens. So that's so important. How would people reach out to you to connect with you about maybe getting some crypto lending?
Yeah, I mean, if you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, Alcides X3, Alcidez X3 on X. If you're on Instagram, a lot of people are on Instagram. It's Alcides, ALCIDES.NYC, which I should probably update like that.
It should see .PC.
Easiest ways that you can reach me on social, or my name, Alcides, at NettyWorth.io.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for being
Thank you
a
for
part
having me.
of, this episode of the podcast and letting us know that Web3 is alive and vibrant. Lots
Extremely.
going on. More
Yeah.
unicorns coming. We're waiting for your unicorn to come out and sending those good vibes
Thank
for accomplishing that goal. I don't have any doubts, because I know that you're putting everything into it.
We're
and-
in too deep. Already.
Yes, I know.
We're in too
You're going to
deep.
have to come out
Yeah.
one way or the other, right? So thank you so much for being a part of this episode. And thank all of you for being a part of this episode of the Punta Cana Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you on the next one.